The big game is finally almost here, and the Kansas City Chiefs are on the verge of making NFL history with a chance to become the first ever team to complete a Super Bowl three-peat. All eyes are on Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the defending champs, but the road to another Lombardi trophy won't be easy as they'll have to take down a tough Philadelphia Eagles team that has been dominant all season. We'll break down everything you need to know heading into Super Bowl LAX, from key matchups to game plans and even some big offseason decisions looming for Kansas City. Plus, we'll talk about Rashee Rice's recovery, potential roster moves, and why the Chiefs' quick passing attack might be the key to victory. Let's get into it. One year ago, the Kansas City Chiefs were gearing up for Super Bowl 58, hoping to secure their third championship in 5 seasons. And guess what? They did just that in an unforgettable overtime thriller. Rashee Rice, then a rookie, played a solid game with 6 catches for 39 yards, helping KC clinch yet another title. Fast forward to 2024, and expectations were sky high for Rice in his second season. Unfortunately, a knee injury in Week 4 versus the Los Angeles Chargers cut his campaign short, just as he was breaking out. In 3.5 games, Rice had already racked up 288 yards and 2 touchdowns, looking like a true star in the making. The Chiefs responded by bringing in veteran DeAndre Hopkins via trade from the Titans to bolster the receiving corps. So I say all this to say that Andy Reid provided a promising update on Rice's recovery during Super Bowl Media Week, stating, quote, "Rice is healing up good, which is positive for next year." So no, he won't play in the Super Bowl. Many speculated he might play, but no, he will not. But we shall see him next year after his suspension. He's going to have to serve that suspension. Let's not forget about that. But we will see him next year. So they could bring back Hollywood Brown or maybe even DeAndre Hopkins and still draft a young receiver to round out the group in the later rounds of the draft. But for the first time since trading Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins, the wide receiver position might actually be a strength again for this Chiefs team. And that is bad news for the rest of the NFL, period. And now let's talk about the big game, Super Bowl 59. LAX, Chiefs versus Eagles. In New Orleans, the Chiefs are set to face the Eagles once again, and history is on the line. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it, that no team has ever pulled off a historic three-peat, but Kansas City is just one win away from making NFL history. The Eagles have won 15 straight games if you exclude a loss where Jalen Hurts left early with a concussion. So what exactly is the key to this matchup, you might ask? And in my opinion, it is stopping Saquon Barkley, and I do think Steve Spagnuolo needs to have a plan for that, but also how can the Chiefs attack this defense that Philly has offensively? Running straight at Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis isn't a great idea, nor is having Mahomes sit in the pocket while their elite pass rushers are coming after him. That leaves one clear strategy: the quick passing game. We saw this strategy work brilliantly in the Chiefs' final 2 regular season games against Houston and Pittsburgh. In those matchups, Mahomes completed 72.2% of his passes for 580 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So spreading the ball around and getting it out fast before the defense can react is going to be key in this matchup. In fact, the Eagles' 3 losses this season all followed a similar pattern. Opposing quarterbacks averaged 7.4 yards per attempt, throwing 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. This is exactly what the Chiefs need to replicate on Sunday to get that win. Mahomes has to be the superstar that has carried Kansas City on this incredible run over the last, 7 or 8 years. But the Chiefs must be smart about how they set him up for success. That means an efficient, quick passing attack that forces the Eagles' young secondary and linebackers into tough situations. If Mahomes holds on to the ball too long, he needs to use his legs to extend plays. He did that in Super Bowl 57. He's going to have to do that again and keep the Eagles' pass rush guessing. So I want to know what you guys think is the key to winning this game. Is it stopping Saquon? Is it Mahomes having a great game against Philly's #1 passing defense? Or could it come down to special teams with Nico Remigio and Harrison Butker? Now listen, Harrison Butker gonna have to nail his extra points and his field goals. Nico's gonna have to be moving. Believe it. He's gonna have to be moving. He's gonna have to have some good runs. And yes, Patrick Mahomes in this offense is gonna have to have a great game against Philly's #1 passing defense. And it's not gonna be easy, but I do believe Andy Reid has some tricks to get around it. And believe it, we're gonna score points. We're gonna need to score points. We're gonna need to score into the 30s. Last time we played him, we won 38-35, and I could definitely see it being like that again. I don't know that it's gonna be exactly that high of a score, but I could see it being high 20s, low 30s. The Chiefs are going to have to score into the low 30s probably, if not more. We'll just have to see what Philly's offense does. I mean, they got Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, so they can score points, and our defense is going to have to make sure they don't, because our offense can't just score points every single drive. I mean, the Eagles' defense is good enough, and they're going to make some stops against our offense, but our offense is going to have to be moving. But our defense is really the key in this game, stopping Saquon Barkley. So what are we thinking? Is the quick passing attack the way to go? And do you believe Mahomes can outdo this tough Eagles defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Now let's talk about the future. The Chiefs' dynasty has been built on smart roster moves by general manager Brett Veach, and he'll have some tough decisions to make this offseason for sure. One hot rumor making waves, though, is a possible trade for Browns pass rusher Myles Garrett. Cleveland's star defensive end requested a trade the other day, and it would take a blockbuster deal to land him in Kansas City, but some suggest the Chiefs could swap Chris Jones along with draft picks to make it happen. Jones, who is 30 years old, is just 1 year older than Garrett and remains a dominant force despite a dip in sack numbers this season. Chris Jones, even though he had the dip in sack numbers, was still one of the hardest defensive tackles to block. So while trading for Garrett is intriguing for sure, it's hard to imagine Kansas City parting ways with Chris Jones. He's been a cornerstone of their defense for years and will continue to be. Ultimately, this is a situation to keep an eye on for sure, but for now it seems unlikely Chris Jones will be going anywhere. And finally, one last piece of great news. Andy Reid isn't going anywhere either. The legendary head coach put retirement rumors to rest during Super Bowl media week, confirming he will be back, saying, quote, "I'll be back," short and simple. And now I can finally breathe easy knowing Big Red will be back on the sidelines for yet another season. And to be honest, it makes sense because I don't understand why he would sign that contract extension if he planned on retirement. So there's another chance to make history on Sunday. Can KC pull off a historic three-peat in NFL history? It's never been done. Can they do it? Can they do it? That's the big question. I think they can and will. Will Mahomes and the quick passing attack be the key to victory? And what's next for the Chiefs roster? They're going to have some tough decisions after this game, win or loss. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more Chiefs content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and go Chiefs!